Hey all. Yeah, so I'm back and yeah, I wanted to try to make some progress on the code we did earlier today. So just to get you all starting here, what we did this morning, we prepared a model like this. And this model is pretty simple. So it's just a bolt connection which is modeled with a rigid. And what I wanted to do was creating a script which takes us and gets you the NPC forces in a way that you don't have to manually sum them. And yeah, so that's pretty much that. And we accomplished it also in in the morning, but it's pretty ugly and the code is messy and stuff like that. So yeah, I will try to do something with this. And yeah, so but yeah, don't expect too much of me here. It's just a cozy stream. If you have any questions regarding Hypermesh or anything other, um, yeah, just drop the questions and I try to ask or try to answer them as best as I can. But yeah, so just so that you know what this stream is all about. It's not that much of a prepared content right now. So it's also just me getting a little bit more comfy with streaming here. So yeah, all right. Um, let's turn the music a bit down. I'm still not sure if I could also stream the music without getting any problems, but I think I would because license issues and stuff like that. So I refrained from doing that until now. But yeah, I think it's not that much of a problem. So this was the code we did today, and I modified nothing, but I think the imports. But this didn't work out either. So yeah, the problem is also always with the imports. I launched the scripts from Visual Studio Code directly, and this just executes, as you also can see here. I think it just executes Python and then the file. So there's no module mode and stuff like that going on here. So this is a pretty bad way of doing it. And this is also what got me problems. So we have our main method here, which is that what we programmed. So this is the entry point for all. And if I just run that with the run button here, you will see that it will fail at some imports. Yeah, no module found like SPC forces tools. So SPC forces tools, this is the parent folder. And I think this was also happening here. I have used it here too, because I think I remember that you should go to use absolute imports, not relative imports. So yeah, that's about that. Um, something is not matching. Yeah. But now this will give me the error also here. But I fixed it here with relative imports because that's working in the main method, because the main method is this, living in the SPC forces tools folder. It can access the folders below it. But I think I had an import from the models reader going back to the parent folder and then to data structures and rigids. And this does not work. So this was it failing, and I then switched it to relative imports, but this didn't work either. Um, anyway, we will fix that with a proper poetry instance and a task file. So that's what I wanted to do, and then maybe fix a bit of the code to just make it a little bit more beautiful, a little bit more straightforward that you could understand it when reading it, a bit more documentary, then maybe some linting, stuff like that. So this is what I try to achieve. Now, first of all, Poetry should be installed on this machine already, so I think I could just launch Poetry in it. No. Yeah, I should write it correctly. Now, we have to call this a package name. Yeah, let's just go with the default name here, SPC Forces Tools. Not sure if this is here to stay. Version, whatever, description, a simple toolbox for getting. What were we getting? MPC and SPC forces from output files from hyper or OptiStruct, to be honest, is OptiStruct. Something like that. So that's me. License, I would say it's MIT. Compatible version is 3.11. That's okay. I would define the main dependencies interactively. Yes. I think the only real dependency we have is Re at the moment, but I don't know if that's even a standard, right? So yeah, we can just skip that. What else do we need? I think nothing right now, right? So there's nothing. Yeah, and I would like to, yeah, now the trick comes. There's a couple of tools I would like to have for the development, and I always looked that up in the professional Python course I did together with a friend, Cody. Because that's I don't remember all of them. So I will also show you the site in a minute. So this is this one. TNTech, professional Python. And yeah, I will just go to maybe unit testing and so, and then look at TOML file. Because then I can see the tool, the dev dependencies, right? So this is this. And then I can just quickly go over that. So we should have pylint. Yeah. So this would be 0. Then latest version. Then next one would be flag 9. Not sure if we did go back to flag 8. Yeah, but let's just give flag 9 a try here. Then we need black as a formatter. That would be that. Then we would need MyPy. No, we don't need that. We don't want to publish that onto the Cyclone DX bomb. We also not interested in doing a bill of software bill of materials. MD bomb, no. Twine, no. I think no. But PyTest for certainly. PyTest should be. Yeah, if we need something more later on, we always can add that for sure. Maybe we need something more. Let's see if I have. Because I think there was something else. PyTest, mkdocs. Yeah, I'm not sure, but PyTest coverage, definitely. Oh. Sorry, that's not what I wanted. PyTest cuff. Yes, this one. Yeah, I think we will skip the rest for now. Alright, we confirm. So now we have a poetry TOML file here in our project folder. And now we can do something like a poetry install. And this will create a virtual environment right now at the desktop level. So it's not that bad, not a good project location for now. But this will change in the future. Now, what? Warning, the current project could not be installed. Whatever, why? No such file or directory. It has no readme. It requires you to have a readme. Alright. Readme. .md. So the md stands for markdown. To be defined. So let's give it again a try. Could also be that something is preventing it, like root permissions. That's not the case. So now it did that. Okay, that was easy. Maybe just 1 or 2 sentences about why this is even a thing. Just imagine you're doing or developing code for different kind of projects, and each project has their own specific needs for special dependencies, right? So that means what Python tools you are using, or what libraries and which versions, and they may differ. But you just have this one machine, so you cannot in parallel install the tool in version 7 and in 8. What you do then is create virtual environments. So this is just a virtual environment where you have your Python setup with all the dependencies you need specifically for this project you're working on. And by creating such a thing, you can also ensure that somebody who downloads the code from GitHub can also just simply one-click install all the dependencies needed. So in earlier days, this was done with requirements.txt file where you list all of the dependencies, and you had a setup routine where it just goes through all of them and installs that onto your machine. And you have to make sure that you are in a state where you can really do that in a compatible way. So this is not really the best way to do it. Better virtual environments, it takes care of you, it takes care of that for you. And what it creates here is just this TOML file, and later on also this log file, which then just gives you all what you had as an input, and this will then be read by Poetry and installed. So this is that. That's as easy as it gets. Now, this is one thing I really find very, very good to do as a software engineer, to have Poetry on your programs, because it makes life a lot easier. All right, so this is that. So we installed that, and now we are currently, are we in the virtual environment? I'm not sure even. So I should select the interpreter, and then it should be the Venv Poetry. Yes, I think that's correct. Yeah. All right, so next thing, task file. Task file is also a very, very great tool to make your life easier for executing the code. And this is especially targeting this problem of you having the Python and -m and stuff like that. Because if you just remember how we executed this program at the end, we were at this level, and then we just said Python -m, then SPC forces.tools. Not sure if we need that, .main. And this tells Python to get in the modular mode into the main method of this package SPC forces tools, and then it gets all the imports right. So something is not right here. Wait a second. I think there's some cache conflict here. Let's delete the cache. Let's do that again. No. It says module not found, no module named reader. What? Line 1 from reader. That's not correct. I saved that file. But somehow it has a cache. Let's see. That's strange. So it's not a cache? Because here the line in main, it says from reader.model readers import fm file reader. And this is not really what's being written on here. So I can maybe change something, save it, change something again, save it again. Somehow this, yeah, not works. I don't know. It didn't catch up the latest changes. So this is the way we did run this, but it's pretty, yeah, it's not that good of a thing to always have to input that into the console, right? So that's not so great. So a better way of structuring things like this, and all, I would say, development targeted practices you would have, is using something like task file. So what is task file? Task file lets you structure some codes which you would execute on a regular basis into a file, and then you can just simply run this task and you don't have to memorize the code. So for example, let's just create a task file in here. Um, I'm not sure why I'm in the why I am in the base virtual environment. I'm not sure if that's correct. Should be. Hmm. Yeah, whatever. So task file. I think there's also init. No. Task. No task file found. Task init. No. I'm not sure. Then we will just create it from scratch. So new file, and this file is called taskfile.yaml. And this is structured in a certain way. You have a version. So basically that's the smallest JSON code. And then you have tasks. And there's already some GitHub Copilot thing here. So build, test, deploy. So we would not have something like this, but let's come up with the ones. And I'm also having that with a side eye. I'm looking at the repo of professional Python and open a task file here and just adapt it as we go. So we have tasks. Now the task install is a thing we definitely want to do. So description is good. So now we don't have JavaScript here. So installs dependencies, and we would like to have Poetry install, and then also, yeah, the pre-commit. I'm not sure if we do this already. No, I would not do this at the moment. So for later, we can have something like a pre-commit here. And then we have for sure a task called lint. So that lints the code. And now, yeah, now it gets a bit ugly. I think this is Python. I will just write it as I have it. Python -m and then poetry run. Because the poetry run makes sure that you execute this in your virtual environment, which is not really matter too much right now because we don't have the dependencies. But later on it will become important. So poetry run, and then no, that's not right. That's let's run black first. Black and check. And then I think here comes the main thing. SPC forces, sorry, SPC forces tools, right? Now next code is Python, and here we have a multi-line input, so it will start with something like this. Python -m poetry run. Yeah, flake. Yeah, that's correct. But now we want to have show sources, statistics, and count. I think that's it. Then now we have the pylinting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay, now we have the linting, and this will give us some work to do. Linting is always fun. Yeah, then for sure we have test, yeah. And test would be something like this. Yeah, I think PyTest. Yeah, I have something different here. Why is it like... Not sure if this is... Not sure what this is meaning sorry, with this sign. I will just copy that. I think it will not matter too much right now. we will come to this thing later. So poetry, here it's just poetry run. All right. Yeah. So PyTest, and then we have conf would be that one, yes. And then conf report HTML. Yeah, so this is just conf report. Yeah, let's see about this. I have the feeling that we have to adapt something here. Okay, and then maybe also a task not built, but how should we name that? Run? Interestingly, it's not even on here. Let's go maybe with a earlier version here. Yeah, then we will just have something like run. Something like this. Now, let's see if that works. Task run. Yeah, so this works. Now comes the fun part. Ready for some action? We now are about to do the linting. As always fun. Task lint. Fail to do task lint. Alright, then task install maybe first. Just have the poetry. Yeah, and then task lint. Fail to run task lint. No module named poetry. Yeah, this gives me the hang that I have the wrong interpreter. No, I don't want to have the Miniconda one. So there should be a venv here, yeah. There's no poetry. Poetry at... Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Yeah, so what was happening here is that in the virtual environment, poetry was not installed. So that means it looked for poetry, run. So this was initially the first command. You have Python, poetry run. Poetry was not known to Python. So you had to make sure that in the development, you would like to have also poetry installed, right? And yeah, so I added this as a development variable. All right, now again. What? Ah, typo. So task file, where do I have it? Poetry, no, poetry. Okay, once again. But I mean, it's good that we don't have any format changes. Yeah. Well, it's not too bad, to be honest. I expected a lot more, to be honest. Yeah. Right. So what this does, it checks different kind of things. Here, for example, it detected some white space. I'm not sure why this is a problem, because if I do the formatting, it always does something like this. So it's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. How could we prevent that from happening? Yeah, we just deactivate. You just deactivate this message, I think. Yeah. Let's see about this. So what you can do to configure this this thing is, let me just quickly check it. I don't have it here. So in this case, we would have to have a Flake8 file to just have, for example, the line limit is now at 84. It's bigger than 79. So 79 is a bit harsh, to be honest. So I would like to increase that, and because I think this is not that much of an interest, I would just look at it up, because I had something like this recently, and I will just copy over some files. Maybe those two. So basically 2 files here. So Flake8 sets the max line length to 120. It excludes test files and ignores 203 and 503. So is this one of them? 203, yes, so this will be ignored. Yeah, I almost cannot believe it, to be honest, that this would be... Yeah. Executable file not found in path. What? Dash dash. Is there a space too many? Let me just quickly check that again. Yeah, for sure it is. Now let's go to the task one again. Something like this, yeah. Cannot imagine that I have a code here which does not have something like a million things to check or to do. Failed to run whatever, show source, executable file not found in path. Well, there's a space too many. Yes. This looks more like it. And to be honest, this is the thing I would expect. Something like this. To have missing doc strings, missing module strings, and stuff like that. Yeah. The other file I also copied in was the pylint.rc, something which I also changed a bit of things here. Yeah, so missing module string, for example, I deactivated, and too few public methods and stuff like that are also deactivated. But now we can make the code a little bit better. So missing class docstring. All right. Now, before I go into, I would say, finer changes of linting and stuff like that, maybe I have first a quick coarser look at it and see if there's more to change in the code, which is more of a yeah archetype, right? Something which is bigger than just having syntax changes and stuff like that, right? So this is what I'm gonna do. I have a small monitor here, so I have to increase a bit of the font size. Getting old. Yeah. Now, let's think about it again. So we have the main thing here, and we don't want to call this main. So this should be its own class, I think. So what should that be? What it does, it reads an FEM file and the MPCF file, so the MPC forces file, and sums up the forces. So, yeah. I'm thinking about MPC. How should we name that? Hey, Valid Rachel. Hello, hello. Welcome in. How should we name that? NPC Summarizer? Hmm. Force Extractor. Well, let's just really name it like very simple NPC tools. Now, with the class thing, I can go a little bit more precise here. So class, not rigid element. What are you doing, GitHub? NPC force extractor, something like that. Now, let's just accept it at first sight. So I would initialize it with a FEM file path and an MPC file path. So this looks right. And then I have get NPC forces. Okay. So I read in the lines. So this should be something like this. Yeah. And then something like this. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So let's change this too. So I would now have something like this. Yeah, the paths are not good. Let's just do something. Copy that. Oh, what did I do there? Sorry. I forgot. Vim is configured that way that if you delete something, it always copies it into the temporary save. How do you call it? A clipboard, yeah. Something like this. So we create the instance here, and then we just have the get NPC forces. The get NPC forces, yeah. The sprint forces is also just a placeholder right now. So that will be later. I would say that we would have to have a method which prints out something. Yeah. Yeah. There's many things to do. So let's just define a placeholder. Right. Summary or something like that. Yeah, pass is okay for now. And let's say something like this. And for now, we just make the print. Maybe we should get something like this. What is this really? This is the forces. This is actually, it's not the forces, it's the property ID 2 forces, right? Property 2 forces. Yeah. So I should also name it like this. So property 2 forces. Maybe it also makes sense now. I'm not sure if how many of you are actively watching this, but if I should go into more detail of what it is doing, then just write it into the chat. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's see if this works. Uh-huh. It cannot be. What the heck? So it does not have a module SBC forces main. Yes, okay, that makes perfect sense. Because we renamed it to NPC tools, right? So we have to adjust that in the task file. So it's not the main method or main class, but the NPC tools. So this should then work. Yeah. What this is, I'm not sure. That should be the moment. Some. Yeah. Okay, but we have a little bit of a print here. We have too much print here, so there's definitely something in the MPC forces reader where there's a print, and we don't really want that, I think. Yeah, so we skip that, delete that, and run it again. So we run it, and then we get something, an output like this. To be honest, what's not really good here is that you don't have a thing which just determines the amount of different connections you would have. Right now, we just have one SPC connection, right? So maybe just let me back off a little bit. So this is the hypermesh model we are talking about. This has a rigid connection here. This rigid connection is connected to two components with two different properties. These two different properties is, this is the differentiation criteria to get the nodes. So I get all the nodes here because they have the property 1, and I get all the nodes here because those have the property 2. Then I sum the MPC forces of those nodes individually together. And this is what you're seeing here as an output. Why the heck? I don't know what this is. Yeah, this is what you're seeing here. So you have property 1 and property 2, and this is the sum. So you have 500 newtons here and minus 500 newtons here. So this is exactly what's happening here. You pull the 500 newtons here. Here it's fixed. So 500 newtons are being transferred through this connection. But just think about you having multiple of those MPC connections, right? You would want to have info about what MPC connection transfers how much of the load. So this is the whole purpose of the program. Yeah, as easy as it seems, but it is not really that easy to get it from default Hyperview tools, at least to my knowledge. Always in question, could be that I'm totally missing something, and there's an easy way to doing it, but I didn't find it. So scripting it is, and so basically what we're doing here is we're taking data in like the MPC forces, which we could export from OptiStruct, and this gets us something like a file like this. And this file then has node IDs and the forces for X, Y, Z, X moment, Y moment, Z moment. Right, so I have no idea how many of different SPCs I would have here. And this is also a thing where I have to think about it a little bit more, I would say. So just imagine you would have multiple of those connections. How would you know? You would know that because you go into the FEM file and you find those elements there. Those are the rigid elements. And those rigid elements are defined like so. You have here the RB2, and this is the keyword. Then you have the ID of this element. Then you have the reference node, or the node, the master node. Then you have the DOFs. So all of that info is just unnecessary for us. And then you have all the nodes. So if you would have multiple connections, you would have multiples of those exact text lines. And maybe now comes the point of thinking about something, how to implement that. Because I think right now in the MPC forces, I would just have something like this. That's not good, that's not good. So I would like to have something like rigid element to forces, and that's a dictionary. And this dictionary, I would say I would write in something like the rigid element as a key, if that's even possible. I hope so, yeah. And then the property to forces. And then I could write the summary just doing after that for all the rigid elements, right? So I could do something like this. Now this method has to change now, because now we have to have a different loop. So there's actually a rigid element to property to forces. You just have two dictionaries in. So yeah, like a tree structure. Maybe I can also paint that real quick. Sorry. So just think about it as something like this. You have your rigid elements, and you have multiples of those. So 1, 2, and then this has property 1, 2, maybe also 1, 2, 3 property. And it's always IDs, right? And those then have, I think just a force, right? Yeah, but you have 6 force components, but yeah, you could, let's make it, those are then the forces. So that's the same thing for here as well. So by iterating over the rigid elements, you go per each rigid element, then for each property ID, and then you get the forces, and then you print that. Yeah, I think so. That makes sense. So let's see if that works. So for rigid element property to forces, yes, in the items, that makes sense. Then let's just print the rigid element ID. It's this one, and then for property, yeah, then let's just make spaces here. So property ID whatever, and then let's make another indentation. Indentation level. Is that correct? Indentation to indent. I don't know. Okay, let's see if this makes sense. Yes, it does not. Rigid element dot element ID. Ah, I don't have that. Okay. Time to change that. So the rigid element is a class, which is here. Yeah, total bollocks. So the rigid element, it's getting that from reader, and the reader's a FEM file reader. Yeah, it's not properly typed here. This always gets you. Not sure if I really want to type it here. So the rigid element is an RBE2 or MPC. So basically there's not an element ID, but just an ID. Yeah, this works. So rigid element ID whatever, then a property, blah 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 blah, then property blah 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 blah. And those new lines I think is unnecessary. Let's make the new line after the rigid element. So if we have now multiple elements, this means that we would have them separately. And now we could maybe do a little bit of a fun thing here. But yes, let's What? No. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So this is my nomenclature right now. So F X Y Z and M for moment MY Z. All right. I think now the fun could begin, but not quite. Not quite. Because the thing was still not really good is the calculate forces. I cannot click that. It's so stupid. Reader get element, get rigid elements. Reader rigid elements. Yeah, so yeah, have to do that with the moment too. Yeah, yep. Now the thing is, does this work already? Not so sure. Now this is being calculated. Where is this being calculated? Yeah, exactly. So here, there has to be something. Right. I was wondering why it has the length of 6. Alright, but now we have data here. If it's correct or not, I cannot tell right now. But maybe in the future we will have some test scenarios. But now the fun could begin. Going a little bit away of doing stupid linting or boring linting stuff, we can now maybe change the model a bit. And let's change the model by just doing some more connections here. Let's see if the model does that, what we would like to do. Yeah. For this to happen, let me quickly generate 2 more of the RBE2s. So that is this model, Richards. So randomly, I will just select something randomly. Yeah, calculator node as always. I would do something here. Yeah, and something here. Okay, so we have now something here and here. Pretty interesting. Yeah, let's run it again. That's with analyze and then analyze. Then we do run 2 here. Let's maybe also make that a 2 here. That makes it easier to get that later on in the data. Just run that. Okay, that was fast as always. Yeah, I have to transfer the files. So from run 2, I need MPC forces. I'll just copy that into the data folder. Now, I would have to change the data, data file links for it to be able to have the second run. So should work like this. And it doesn't. Okay. Now, interestingly, the MPC forces reader did not work. Let's see how the data looks like now for multiple. So we have the NPC forces here. There's no separation here, but there is... Yeah, real stupid data. I'm not sure if this is this the reference node maybe? We have 3 of those, and this should all be 0, but I'm not sure. Yeah, that multiple strategies could apply here. So for one, we could also just exclude the reference node. On the other hand, I'm not sure why it's not working right now. So I would like to see why it's not working. So line content is going through here, and that should be it. Now I want to see the line content, because it can only be that there's something missing. Ah, sorry, I have to, that's the wrong console. I have to do it again like this. So we see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, because the strip is not really doing us. Okay, let's think. So somehow this works fine. Interestingly. And then the other two are being a complete... Oh no, there's also one missing. So the last line is not read in. So this is 6, 8, minus 9. 6, 8, minus 9. So this... Ooh, I have another problem here. So I increase here the line number. Because that's working. Then I increase the line number here. And while then this line doesn't start with minus, minus, minus. Ah, no. It will also read in the last line. It just had a problem here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we had a problem earlier. Okay, let's just print also the line. So before doing anything here, so let's just print also the line so that we really see what's going on. Now, this here is being transferred to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7 instances. Why the heck? Ah, okay, it's always getting 7 instances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why the hell? So something is not wrong, not right here. I think this eye is a problem. Yeah, definitely is a problem. Let's make it a J. Not sure why I didn't catch that. Still not good. Okay, line content is line J until J plus N. N is 13. I think that should be 12. Not sure. 13 should... It's strange. The last thing here, it's just an empty string, but it's still there. I think this is just a new line character. This is just a new line character, I think. Yeah. Yeah, let's remove the new line character. So we have this. So now it's making it makes sense now. Um, so this is making sense now. Now this one here doesn't make sense. So we have 2, 6 here. Those would be the last two, but then we don't have anything right here. Why is that? If we look at NPC forces, okay, man, this is really hard. This is really hard. You see, there's no spaces here, so there would be nothing. I would consider that a bug, to be honest, in writing out that. But we can get a workaround. Yes. Yeah, something like this. One, two, three, four, five, six. So that works. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But now it has another problem. What? Hmm. Not sure what this is doing. Now we have the moment and force and moment. So this is force. And if the line starts with nothing, what is this? What is this? I'm not checking my own code now. If the node is there, if the line starts with nothing. What? What? What is this doing? So if I have X force here, it's still here, still there. And while it's not starting with minus minus minus, it does this. I think this is just stupid code. This can be left, right? Think about it. What does it change? It does something like self nodes to forces, then node ID 0 plus equal force 0. Force is something like this is complete bollocks. Did not remove it. Okay. I really don't get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 elements. Num2 forces. What? Mm-hmm. Ah, key error. There's no key here. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So did we something wrong here? That doesn't make any sense. If line starts with nothing, then I split it somehow. That doesn't make any sense. Let's just, before I return that, let's print it. If that's an empty dictionary, there's something wrong here. Okay, so this works. Now, it has a key error. This key error means that it is not found. This key error should be a node. So let's just search for the node. So the node is there. It's also assigned here at the RBE2. And it's also assigned here at the C quad. So my best guess would be that I would have the wrong FEM file, but this is not the case. Okay, so then I have to debug further. So the key error that the node is not being there at this location. Node to force is being transferred by, it's not here. Yeah. So node to force is being given here. Yeah, so the MPC forces reader, I think it did not. Wait a second. This 4193. Is this in the MPC forces data? If it's not there, then there's a failure. 4193. It's not there? What? Okay, now we have a thing to discuss. So this is the RBE, the MPC forces out. Could that be that there are multiple MPC forces? No. Just try to open that again here. No, that's not there. Huh? That's getting more interesting by the day. So we have now the two different MPC forces. Now we have just 104 lines here, and we have more lines here, so 180. But 4193 is a node, right? And this node, let's just find this node. Four one nine three. This is this node. This clearly has RBE2 to it, right? Now the question now is, why the heck is it not here? It's not here. For 191, for 192, for 195. Nothing out of for 193. Could that be a serious bug of HyperWorks? Because if that's the case, I think then we cannot do that with this sort of approach. Well, in order that our program is running correctly, we could make some changes here. But first of all, I would like to get to the bottom of this. So there's a node here, and HyperWorks is telling me that I don't have any SPC forces on them, or MPC forces. So I would assume that those forces would then be 0, exactly 0. Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense why it's not including that in the LT output file. Alright, but if that's the case, I would like to see that by myself by checking if I change now. Let's just save that as a hypermesh model, because now I'm doing changes which I would like to reverse at some point. So if I just go into the load case and just deselect the opti format request, run this again, run to default, and let's just run it and then open that in Hyperview, because then I can also see or look at the thing here. Okay, did it run? And if that's now 0, that's okay by me. I can also do something like expect 0 there. But it's a bit ugly, to be honest. So run to default. No. I would like to have a Hyperview instance. By the way, song recommendation. Unclue, Joy. It's a banger. I really like that one. So I don't know if you see that here, but yeah. So Unclue. Definitely a great artist. Yeah, so now let's read that in. And now let's visualize with a vector plot maybe the MPC forces. Let's also synchronize the two windows. Let's go to this location. I'm not sure where it was. No, that's not the one. Yeah, whatever. We do it like this by ID. It's easier. Now let's do just a contour plot. MPC forces magnitude, yes, and then with table apply. By ID, add return, apply. Yes, you see? I think there's a cutoff. Everything below 10 to the power of -9 will just get omitted. And yeah, okay, that's not. I don't think that's a good way of doing that, because yeah, I mean, would you just have to believe it? It's just missing data, to be honest. It's missing data. If you have an RB2 element and you have this amount of nodes here, just let us quickly be sure that I'm not accusing here a bug where there's none. But if I'm just looking here at 4193 and I would like to get this grid ID here. So you see it's part of RBE2 with the element ID 19602. So it's definitely a node in RB2 element. So if you would like to have the MPC forces outputted, then why the heck is it not in there in the output file? So the output file here should show also this node. It isn't there. You are expected to believe that it's 0 for all of those columns, but yeah, haha, it's not good, to be honest. bad practice. Bad practice. Okay, but yeah, maybe that's also something with rounding errors or something like that. It's just being left out, or it could also be a real bug. Really, I'm not sure about this. But problem is I cannot really give a workaround around this issue because I'm not in control how this data here is being generated, right? I'm not sure how this is generated. And because I cannot generate it for myself, maybe I could with a binary result reader into the OptiStruct results. That could maybe work, but that's a lot of more of a heckle. And actually, yeah, I would just assume that this is Altair's job to fix this and to just have that right. But okay, but I would say to just go forward here. The problem is that I have a key error. And well, this is definitely something I can fix here. So if node not in node forces continue, but I would also print in this little error statement. Something like this. So node not found in MPC forces file, bug or 0, you decide. So it's not on me. And if I run it now, this should work now. Okay. Now we can then get rid of the print statements, I think. Get rid of the print statements. Oh, there's a lot of nodes not being found. Come on. Come on. Okay, I will write a support ticket for that. I think I don't know. So it could be all fine, but on the other hand, it could also be just a stupid bug. Could also be that. Yeah, so so that's that. But now let's get rid of those line content prints, which is I think here. No, not here, but MPC reader. Yeah, this one, and there's another one. Yeah. And also, what I also would like to change is the MPC tools should not write this just in a printing statement, but I would like to write this into a file. Because that's easier. So I have another comment here. Hello, thank you for your videos and for these live streams, and thank you for keeping them in your channel so we can watch them whenever. Yeah, sure. I thought about keeping them in there because it's not prepared, and sometimes it's also maybe not too exciting to watch. But on the other hand, it's just the rough truth, right? So it's a real struggle. As someone who has dealt with the software for a couple of years now, and you still see me struggle at some points and yeah, mess up certain things. But yeah, I will leave them on for quite some time, and yeah, I will see how the interest is there. So if this is something we should do on a regular basis, I'm more than happy to do so. I just have to balance a little bit the professional life, then also the private life with my family, and so I cannot be a full-time streamer, not at all. But at the weekends, sometimes I can do something like this. And also, I mean, it's always give and take, right? So this also helps me in my professional life because I can use those tools then, and yeah, I can also get some value from the comments here. And this is also the dream or the beauty of open source. So if you have a pull request on GitHub, it makes my code better. It makes the code for everybody better. So I'm not gaining too much here, but yeah. So for me, it's perfect. So I really like doing this. But thanks for the compliment, and yeah, happy to help. If you have any questions or comments, like something you would like to see, always just put it in there, and I will see if I can make the time. If it's fitting, why not? Why not? All right, so let's write this to a file. I think it's better to have that as a file. So that's output file. There should be then, I think, data. Yeah, now we're getting in the realm of structuring the data here. Yeah, I think it's always good to have an input and an output section. So right now it's not really that good structured. So input output, this all should go into the input. Output should be then reserved for the output. Let's also include another folder, MPC forces. How did I do that? Forces. Yeah, summary. I don't know what else will be done there, but we will see about this. So this is just getting that. I think I should do this as a public method. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. This should be a public method. So I would like to have something like return. Yeah, something like that. So, and then I can have it like this, rigid element to forces equals that, and then write summary. So it's a little bit more here. And then I can also do something like so with a file name. So data output, and then what did I call it? MPC forces summary. Output.text. So there's a file path. So I can give a file path here. Always be a little bit more precise here. So file path out. Yes, so with open that as file, then always use the encoding. Otherwise the linter will get you mad. As file, that's okay. Let's just have another level of indentation. So now print should be replaced by file.write, right? Right? Not sure. Let's see that. All right, so this is something which is doing that. So let's also delete the output file if it exists. Yeah. Yeah. So, and now we have something like import OS. All right, well, let's see if that worked. No, for sure not. Because we now have an input folder, we also have to assign it here. All right. Now it's not bad, right? So we have the comments, the printing here. Guys, really, this pisses me off that I don't have the data here. It pisses me off. But yeah. Okay. What we forgot was having new line characters. We have to have them. Why is this white? Hmm. Is there get the running time and date? Get the date time. Come on, I cannot remember that, to be honest. Um, okay. Yeah, something like this. No, no. Ah, yeah. That's a good thing. Yes, coming up with something good here to our log file. Okay. What did I do? Right. Now let's see what this output file looks like. What takes so long? Is this still running? What? No, that cannot be that it's still running. What the hell? What the hell? Something is not working. Okay, we have data output that it got deleted, but still it's somehow hanging. I'm not sure why. I am not sure why. Did we create like a forever loop here? Okay. Not sure what this is doing. Hello. Let's see. We have a hello here. And then we may have a hello in the those things here. Can interrupt it, but something is most recent call. Ah. Ah, that's a stupid thing, man. Come on. What the hell? I have to ask GPT for that? That's such a simple question. Yes, okay. How to get date time in Python without library. That should be something like time module, yeah. Timestamp. Yeah. I don't know why this is so complicated for GitHub Copilot, but you really GitHub Copilot sometimes really pisses me off. So we have something like import time. Then we have the timestamp. Yeah, we don't need a comments. So here month, date, hours, minutes, seconds. That's okay. So, and then we just have the formatted time here. Right. Okay. Now again. Yeah, let's get rid of the hellos. Right. Yeah. So this is it. Let me quickly get the ChatGPT out of the way. Okay, now I can see the chat again. In case of any questions. All right. Now let's see what the output file looks like. So, summary of MPC forces extraction, date, whatever, input file and output file, input MPC and FEM file. So we have now multiple rigid elements. This is the first one. It transfers 256. Then the second one transfers 40 newtons. And the third transfers 202 newtons. Isn't that great? I really like that, to have something like this, because now you can think of seeing why it is that way. You see multiple things here, and so my guess would be, which is the 40 newtons? We have two roughly the same thing, 250 and 200. I would argue that this one should take a lot of load because it comes first, then this comes second, and this takes the less. But let's see if I'm right. So if I just select this element, and it's the 19603. Yeah, actually I'm wrong. So this takes 200 newtons, and the 602 takes 40. So it's the one in the middle taking not so much? No, it's this one. Huh? Alright. I was totally wrong on that one. So the main thing is transferred here and here. Why is that? Yeah, you can think about something like this, but if you don't have an easy way of summing that up, you would have to do that manually for each of those. The total sum is also something which I think is of interest. Should it be 0? Should it be 0 in all cases? I'm not 100% sure. My gut feeling is telling me no. That it's not always the case that it equals out to 0. But I'm not 100% sure on that one. So if we just think about it, we have minus 200 here, 40 here, so that gives us minus 160, and then we have plus, oh no. Well, each one is balanced out, right? So in this case it gives us 0 for everything. Yeah, each one is balanced. Yeah, that makes sense, because then it's not moving. But still, my gut feeling is telling me there is something, well, on the other hand, thinking about it, what does it mean that it would not be the same? So one side would get more force than the other side. So we would have a force discrepancy. Well, you could argue with contacts, could argue with strain energy, something like this, which is not present in the model right now. So I'm not sure. This is another topic, maybe another day. But this is pretty cool now. This is pretty cool. I think there's a lot more to enhance here. So for example, I would like to have something like a visualization. I would like to have something which shows me the location of one of those rigid element IDs automatically, so that I can just see, all right, which one is this. It could generate a TCL code which just draws arrows or vectors in there. Then you can also do a really good post-processing on that. So that's just some future ideas. But I think the fun has been enough for today. Now let's get into the trench work, do the linting, because that's a thing you should not neglect. So task lint, and we will now do, I think because now the structure is more or less okay. Okay, let's start fixing that. So import re was not used. Okay, I did that. Did delete it. Now fstring is missing placeholders. We don't have something like that. No, you're not. Okay. Don't need f strings if you don't have any variables. All right. Now the fun begins. But it's not that much, to be honest. Missing class docstring. All right. So NPC tools that should have a docstring. I'm not sure if it goes below or above. Think below. This class is used to extract the forces from the NPC forces file and calculate the forces for each rigid element based on element by property. Arcs. Yeah, let's not get too fancy. Come on, it's just a... Alright, so this is that. Then missing function or method docstring. Really? For the 13. I think for the initialization I don't really need something like a method. Okay, this method extracts the forces from the NPC forces file. Not that good. This method reads the MPCF file and the FEM file. Yeah, maybe other way around. The FEM file and the MPCF file, and extracts the forces in a dictionary. Yes. If added rigid elements as a key and the property force property to forces as the values. Something like this. Okay. Now another one. This method writes the summary of the forces extracted from the NPC file. That makes sense. Alright, next one. Missing class docstring. This class is used to extract the forces. This class is a multiple point constraint. Yes. Maybe later that will definitely change. So again, this class is the RBE implementation. T. Yeah, not implementations. It's RB2 child class. But yeah, to be honest, yeah, something like this. Let's not get too fancy. Okay, that's that. I will just make now the boring method descriptions and then go to the code issues later. Calculate the forces by property. Calculate the forces. Definitely that's also not a correct term. It's summing the forces. Yeah, let's make that different. So where is this used? I think this is used in NPC tools, right? Yeah. Alright, some forces. Is it? Yeah, no. It's more than that. Some forces by property. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, then something with ID. There's built-in ID and I have something like an override. I have to do that one again. Let's go to the next one. Or maybe let's just lint it again. I like to see when it's converging a bit, and I mean, this is still early stages, right? So this doesn't take too long. All right, redefining built-in IDE. So you should not use ID. All right, then let's use element ID. Um, element ID, whatever. Then let's also use element ID here. Unused DOFs. Yeah, then doesn't. No. That's better. Useless parent or super delegation in method. Why? Not sure if I believe that. This is a harder problem, to be honest. Not really getting the thing here. Useless parent or super delegation in method. I don't get that. So what I do here, the init, I just initialize the super of it. Just use this one. Why not? I have to see that what this is really meaning and how to fix that. It just says me it's useless. Useless parent or super delegation and method. Let's see what Stack Overflow has to say about this one. If you call a specific arrow class, it will look for an init. If it doesn't exist, it will call the parents init. There's no need to add an init here since it's exactly the same like the parent class. It's basically code duplication. So basically you could just skip that whole thing, right? Let's see if the lint is happy. For sure it is because it's not there anymore, but let's... What? No, list is not used anymore. Oh, wait a minute. So in this case, it's just missing. List here, and the DOFs, I think, was a string. And the element ID was an integer. I think I'm messing the code up right now. Yeah, but all to make the linter happy, right? That's the way to do it. Okay, so this is happy now, but let's do the task run again. Yeah, now it's not working. And why is it working? The rigid element.id isn't existing anymore. Yeah, that makes sense because it's now called element ID. But other than that, it seems good. All right, so I think not broken. Not broken until now. So let's lint again. Let's lint again. Getting there. So model readers, missing class docstring. All right, happy class strings again. This class is used to read in the .fem file and extract the nodes and the rigid elements. Yeah, basically that's it. Now we have a few of those. I'm not sure. Should that even be a method here, to be honest? Yes, I think so, because I like the way to include something like the self.readline. Yeah, because that's just giving a little bit code to the structure, but having here something like a decorator that... Yeah, I mean, yeah. Something like this. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Ah, Robinson, you still here? So what we're doing here is we're creating a script to extract forces from NPCs. So basically, I'm linting. That means I make the code better, and the purpose of this code is to extract the sum of forces of a connection like a rigid connection here. And because Hypermesh lacks some tool which automatically sums all the forces of one property or one side of the connection, to just see if the load is transferred appropriately, or to see how much load is transferred via which RBE2 in this case. This tool is doing that. And the tool is now working pretty fine. And I'm just doing linting, so that means I'm yeah, just fixing syntactic errors in the code, something like this. But if you have any questions or so, just drop them and I'm happy to answer them. So, consider iterating a dictionary dialectic called keys. What? I'm using that. Ah, directly. So, I think directly would be so. Hopefully. No? Does this still work? Oh, maybe I broke the code here. No? Let's check the output file. Okay. I did not know that. Let's try. I don't try. I don't trust that. A equals a dictionary, and let's A be the key for 1 and B the key for 2. Is that working? No. Let's create a dictionary. A should be 1 and B should be 2. For key in A, print key. Okay, that works. Good. Learned something new. All right. Not much to do. Consider using enumerate instead of iterating with range and length. Yes, so this is not a good thing. Enumerate. Enumerate, and then we have to do something like this, right? So standard should be before whatever. Okay. Yes. Now, does it work still? Always check that. Yeah, I would say it works. Okay, not much to do. NPC forces has to have a class string. Oh yeah, I have to fix something. Oh, I did forget about this. Um, I change it here that the read lines would be called here. So I would like to make that private. Now the code should fail because there's something like it has no object of read lines. Yeah, okay. And also, this should also not work, right? No, man, I did not remember correctly how to do a private method in Python. Is it with two underscores? Yeah, it's for sure. It's two underscores. Okay. So something like this. So this should not work, but we will test that. And this then has to have two underscores, and this has to have also two underscores. And the same thing goes for this one. Two underscores. So this should fail because it has no attribute. Yes, exactly, because it's private. And now it should run again. Yes. Okay. Now, still something to do, but not too much. So get node to forces. That's, yeah, whatever. Doing some simple documentation. So here I have also the range length. And then iterating directly instead of using keys. And I think now we're done. Hopefully. So that means that the code is now linted. That means it's considered a good code, right? So that means, I mean, I deactivated a lot of error messages, but yeah, you have to fight them wherever you can. Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense, to be honest. For example, we did now a lot of documentation here. And what I did, for example, remove was the module docstring, because it would require you not just classes, but also your modules. You would have to have some docstrings in there. And I mean, if you just look at something like this, there's more than enough documentation here. So everything orange is documentation. That's more than enough. All right, I think that's about it for today. So next steps would be to integrate something like a test classes, to be sure that you have the correct functionality, because we did not look at if it's really doing the correct thing right now. We just guessed it more or less and see, all right, 500 newtons, all right, that is right. But to be sure about that, we would need to have more testing done. So testing is another thing to do. Fortunately, that is always pretty easy with a Copilot or a large language model. But the mocking can get you sometimes. So yeah, still something to do. And then there's also, yeah, the thing with coding is you start at some point and then there's always something more to do. It's not that you're finished, it's just that you have a state and then you can go and make it better in this area or make it better in that area. So there's always something to do. But for today, I would say I have been doing more than enough on the live stream side. Thank you everybody for staying here, for contributing, and if you have any questions, just put a comment here or write me a mail, and we will see how we would approach those things. Yeah, so this code will be live, I would say, pretty soon on GitHub, and then you can also create issues there and make suggestions or use it. And yeah, and also tell me about if you have problems with it, so I can maybe make it better. And yeah, so that's all for today. unless you have any quick questions left, which we could cover. I would call it a night and head off. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I will see you around, and yeah, all the best. Bye, guys.